I'm often asked what the relationship is between the prophet Elijah and the Carmelites. Well, the prophet Elijah is the patron of monks and of hermits. And there are three ways that we as Carmelites are related to him: geographically, in lifestyle, and prayer. First, geographical. Well, we're the custodians of Mount Carmel. This is something the church has asked of us. And on Mount Carmel, we have three locations. We have our mother house, Stella Maris, on the north end of the ridge of Mount Carmel, over the cave of Elijah. We have the Wadi Ein Nasiya, about a mile down on the west side. This is where our hermits first, as far as we know, established themselves. And then we have Mukracha, which is the place of the sacrifice, 18 miles down the ridge on the south end, where Elijah confronted the prophets of Baal and Asherah. And our lifestyle is reflected in what's called the Carmelite rhythm or the Elijah rhythm. And this rhythm is seen when you read the accounts in the book of Kings, 17th chapter through the first part of the second book of Kings. He appears out of nowhere, it seems. He does his ministry, whatever God calls him to, goes right back to his mountain or wherever he's staying, and until the next time God calls him out. And it's this rhythm back and forth, always back to solitude. And for Carmelites, we also have this rhythm in our life. We are in ourselves praying, reflecting on the law of the Lord, and we get called out to ministry. We do our ministry. When we have finished our ministry, we return back to ourselves, back to reflecting on the law of the Lord, preparing for the next ministry. And the third element, prayer. We know the story of Elijah being told by God to go to Mount Horeb, which is really another word for Sinai. So Elijah makes his way to Mount Horeb, and God tells him he's going to be going before him. So he stands in the cave waiting for God. The first thing we hear is that there's a great wind that's rending the mountains and crushing the rocks, and powerful wind. But the scripture says this was before the presence of God. It's not the presence of God. Then the earthquake comes, but God's not in the earthquake, it tells us. The fire comes. He's not in the fire. And then a very gentle breeze. The same words used here is used in the book of Genesis. The whole idea of a recreation. I remember Moses received the law from Mount Sinai, kind of like the recreation of the people, the new covenant. This is almost like a covenant of prayer being established here. He's on Mount Sinai, and the sign is this gentle breeze. So he covers his face with his mantle, walks out of the cave, and stands in the presence of God. And this is the call of the Carmelite, not so much to be meditating or doing something, but just standing in the presence of God. This is the ultimate way of being. It's the little being in the presence of the great being. We, the servant, in the presence of God.